Okay, just think about this for a second. Imagine you save almost 700 kids from certain death, and then you just don't tell anyone for 50 years? That is the incredible true story we are diving into today. The story of a hero of the Holocaust that for decades nobody even knew existed. The thing that makes this whole story so absolutely mind-boggling, it really all boils down to one single number: 50. 50 years. I mean, that's a whole lifetime, right? Just stop and think about that. What kind of secret is so huge, so heavy, that you'd carry it completely alone? Not just from the world, but from the person you share your life with, for half a century. So to really get who this hero was, we have to start with the secret itself. And this story, it doesn't kick off with some big explosion. Nope. It begins with decades of just complete silence. You see, for 5 decades after World War II, the man we're talking about seemed totally, completely ordinary. He was a quiet stockbroker living in a small English town. To his neighbors, he was just this polite, kind of unassuming guy. Nobody, and I mean nobody, not even his own wife, had a single clue about the extraordinary things he'd done. So how does a secret that big finally come out? You'd probably expect some dramatic, tearful confession, right? Wrong. It was something way more normal. In 1988, his wife is just cleaning out the attic, and up there, she stumbles on this dusty, old scrapbook. She opens it up and finds something astonishing. Pages and pages filled with children's names, their photographs, and all these official-looking travel documents. And just like that, it's the very first clue to a past her husband had never, ever mentioned. Okay, so that scrapbook was the key. But to really understand what it all meant, we gotta go back in time. We need to see what the world was like then. A world that was basically falling apart. A world that pushed a totally ordinary guy to do something, well, completely extraordinary. And look at how fast things were spiraling out of control. In 1938, you have the Munich Agreement, which basically handed over parts of Czechoslovakia to Hitler. Just a few months after that, bam, you get Kristallnacht, a terrifying signal of the violence to come. By March of '39, Nazi troops are marching into the rest of the country. For thousands and thousands of kids, the clock was ticking, loudly. That window to get out, it was slamming shut, fast. Now, faced with all that, most people just felt totally helpless. I mean, what could you possibly do? But not our guy. He operated from this different belief system, this really simple but powerful idea that drove everything he did. It was basically this: if something is not impossible, then there must be a way to do it. And that belief is what kicked him into action. He didn't just sit around and hope someone would figure it out. He decided he was going to be the one to create a way. He came up with a plan. A plan that, honestly, anyone else would have called crazy, completely impossible. So who was this person? A spy? A soldier? Some government agent with a ton of resources? Not even close. He was just a 29-year-old stockbroker from London. And get this, he was actually supposed to be going on a ski trip. But instead, he diverts his trip to Prague, he sees this disaster about to happen, and he just decides, right then and there, I have to do something. And the scale of what he planned was just breathtaking. He's literally working out of his hotel room in Prague, setting up this massive one-man rescue operation. Think about all the things he had to do. Find British foster families, raise a financial guarantee of £50 for every single child, which was a fortune back then. He had to fight through mountains of red tape to get visas, and then he had to actually arrange the trains to get them out, through hostile territory. It was a total logistical nightmare, and he just did it. So all of that relentless effort, all of that impossible planning, it all came down to this one thing: the rescue itself, the missions that would eventually become known as the Czech Kindertransport, or more simply, the children's trains. This was a flat-out race against the clock, and for a while, they were winning. Over several months, 8 trains packed with children made it out of Prague and all the way to safety in Britain. 8. But, and this part is just heartbreaking, there was a 9th train. It was the biggest one yet, with 250 children on board, all ready to leave on September 1st, 1939. That exact day is the day Germany invaded Poland, the day World War II began. The borders slammed shut, and that train, it never left the station. But even with the absolute tragedy of that last train, the number of children who did get out, well, it's simply staggering. When you add it all up, this is how many lives his efforts saved. 669. Let that number sink in for a minute. It's so much more than just a number, you know?
It's 669 futures that were saved. It's 669 entire family trees. Children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, thousands of people who are alive on this planet today, all because one man refused to believe something was impossible.
Which brings us right back to where we started, that central mystery. How do you do something that monumental and then tell no one? It all comes down to this hero's profound humility.
I mean, look at this. This is the whole paradox of his life laid out right here. On one side, you have this incredible, historic act. He masterminded the rescue of 669 children. And on the other, the life he actually chose to live. A quiet stockbroker who kept this giant secret for 50 years. How do those two realities even exist in the same person?
Well, the reason he stayed silent is maybe the most telling thing about him. It wasn't about shame or fear. It was this profound sense of humility. In his own mind, what he did wasn't heroic at all. It was just the right thing to do, what anyone should have done. And you know what he focused on? Not his success. He was haunted by his failure, those 250 children on the final train that he couldn't save.
But eventually, the world did find out, and the story of this quiet stockbroker, whose name, by the way, was Nicholas Winton, became a global inspiration. He was knighted by the Queen and lived to be 106 years old, his life a powerful, enduring testament to the fact that one ordinary person, driven by conscience, can truly change the world.
And that leaves us with this one last powerful thought. Nicholas Winton's story was just hidden away in an attic for 50 years, discovered completely by chance. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other heroes just like him walk among us, their incredible stories still untold?